At the top, in all-new at 10, an airline turns away a man with disabilities. He was left stranded at a Valley airport.
The man says they wouldn't let his best friend fly with him. Our Channel 5 Steve Solis spoke with a man. He joins us in the studio with more. Steve.
Yeah, Lefty, Davis Hahn is a disabled man who travels with a service dog. Now, he's boarded more than 80 flights with his canine companion without any problems until today.
That must save you. Hey, boy. That's my best friend.
Davis Hahn doesn't go anywhere without his best friend. Savior helps Hahn get around. Hahn says Savior is his most valuable piece of medical equipment.
If you're blind, the dog is your eyes by proxy. If you're deaf, the hearing dog is your ears. If you're a war veteran with psychiatric issues, the dog is your mental well-being. You never separate the dog from the person because the dog is by proxy part of your body.
The pair is traveling from New Orleans to Mexico City. They made a quick pit stop in the Rio Grande Valley.
And I decided to stop off in McAllen because I have a friend of mine who is a war veteran, and she has stage 4 breast cancer.
Hahn and Savior arrived at McAllen International Airport for their flight to Mexico City.
When I went to get on the plane, they looked at me very funny.
They were supposed to be on Aeromar Flight 799.
They looked at the dog, and they said, "Did you bring his box?"
Hahn and Savior were never allowed to board the plane.
And I said, "I never travel with a box for my service dog." Then they said, "Our plane is too small to fly a service dog."
Workers at the counter then called Aeromar's home office in Mexico City.
And apparently the corporate philosophy was they weren't going to fly the service dog.
The man and his best friend stuck in McAllen.
And I don't blame the counter help. They weren't trained properly. But when they made a phone call to Mexico to the corporate office and they said, "Yeah, don't let the guy in the plane,"
The U.S. Department of Transportation says all service animals are allowed to travel in airplane cabins. Hahn says service dogs don't help people when they are in a kennel.
And my dog was not going to be in a cargo box in 100-degree heat flying on a little plane going into Mexico today. And number one, it's not a requirement. It's against the law. But number two, I'm not going to risk the life of my best friend.
Hahn hopes this incident will help others learn how people with disabilities should be treated.
I'm just a man, 57 years of age, who relies on a dog instead of many prescription drugs. And this is my medical dog. And you know, I think that airlines have a duty to try to be compassionate. Most are. And this airline could have handled it differently, and they chose not to.
Now, we reached out to Aeromar tonight to find out why Hahn and Savior were denied air travel. We were told they wouldn't be able to answer our question until tomorrow. We'll let you know what they say. Now, according to the Department of Transportation, airlines doing business in the United States must accommodate service animals. We place a complete text from the DOT on our website, krgb.com. Live in studio, Steve Solis, Channel 5 News.